What is up, YouTube? This is Nanashi with yet another deck profile video. Today we'll be looking at my blue deck, the deck of water. This main deck is purely fish and the extra deck is purely water. And this deck has seen some significant modification due to a lot of requests by a lot of other people who watch my videos. So I've tried to integrate their suggestions into the build along with a couple of my own texts, and let's just see where this goes. Starting off, we have the level 2 Nimbles, mainly just 2 Angler, who, if you send from your hand or deck to the grave, for whatever reason, you can special summon up to 2 level 3 or lower Nimbles from your deck, except itself. And of course, in this instance, your target would be 2 of the 3 Nimble Sunfish, who, if destroyed in battle and sent to the grave, you send a fish from your deck to the grave, it's mandatory, and then you special summon a Nimble Sunfish from your deck. Honestly, I'm debating on putting 1 Manta back in, because with this restraint on the Nimble system, it's a little bit harder to get Tribute fodder or Rank 2 fodder. But in all honesty, this works for now, given how the build is so much more linear than it used to be. For the level 3s, I run a pair of Fishborg Archer, 3-star tuner. If it's in the grave and you control no monsters during either of your main phases, you can discard a water monster and special summon it from the grave, but you gotta destroy all monsters you control at the beginning of this turn's battle phase, except waters. It can only be used once per turn, but it's still a great level 3 tuner, and it pairs well with the 2 shark stickers I run, where if you were to normal or special a fish, sea serpent, or aqua, you can special this guy from your hand. And he can't be used as a synchro, which is fine, because if for whatever reason you have Archer and this in your hand, you just get an immediate rank 3. And then we move into the level 4 targets. Starting off with a pair of Deep Sweeper. I've replaced MST entirely with this card, because if you tribute it, you can target a spell trap on the field and destroy it. Double Shark, where if you normal summon it, and I have gotten it in my hand more than once, you can reduce the levels of all your level 4 fish to 3. And it can make a second attack during each battle phase, but nobody gives a flying you-know-what about that effect. It's more about the fact that you can make rank 3s or a bunch of low levels out of all the monsters you control. The 2 Fishborg Doctors. I put 2 in here because, in all honesty, 3 was kind of dead drawing. But if it's in your grave and all monsters you control are Fishborgs, with a minimum of 1, you can special summon this card, and if you do, you banish it when it leaves. You can only use its effect once per turn, and if you control a monster that's not a Fishborg, it self-destructs. But if you have Archer and this in grave, Archer comes out, this comes out, exceeds for synchro for 7. Summon one of these from hand, pull the other one out of the graveyard, rank 4. 3 Metabo Shark. Refill engine. 1800. When it's normal summoned, you select and return 2 fish from your graveyard to your deck. It has to be 2, though, so I mean, it's not really a big problem. Who cares? And 2 Royal Swamp Eel. I was debating on 2 or 3 for this, but 2 works better. If you use this as synchro material, all the other synchro materials must be fish. And finally, the boss of the deck, the one I have been aching to put back at 3 ever since I had to reduce it to 1. Super Ancient Deep Sea King Coelacanth. Once per turn, you discard a card from your hand. You can special summon as many level 4 or lower fish from your deck as possible, but all their effects are negated and they cannot attack. It also has some protection effect. It says that if it's targeted for an effect, you can tribute a fish you control to negate that card and destroy it, but nobody really cares about that effect. It's more about the fact that you can spam it. This is fish spam, and this card is what makes it all happen. And then we get into the spell lineup, starting with 2 DDR Different Dimension Reincarnation. Discard a card, target a banished monster, special summon it in attack mode, and equip it with this. Fairly straightforward effect. I use it on 2 cards in particular, unless someone's getting extremely lucky with that Bottomless. 1 Foolish, send a monster from deck to grave, standard. 2 Instant Fusion. I think we all know what water target I would pick with this. Pay 1,000, special summon a fusion monster from your extra deck of level 5 or lower, sorry. 3 Moray of Greed. This is the card that people have recommended to me the most. And I see why they recommended it, but I'm still having some bad hands with it if I'm just going to be bluntly honest. Shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand into the deck and draw 3 cards. It's not a bad card, it's just this build does not like me having monsters in hand. 2 rank up 7th one. 101's in the extra deck, and it's honestly useful. And if for whatever reason I dead draw it, I have plenty of discard outlets to get rid of it. And 3 Sacred Sword of 7 stars. This was a recommendation by a very close personal friend. Banish a level 7 from your hand or on your side of the field and draw 2. You can only activate 1 a turn. And the trap lineup. Now, people have made some recommendations about this as well, specifically more about this than anything. 2 Call of the Haunted, brings back a monster from grave. 2 Fish Depth Charge. This one was one that people have requested a lot. You tribute a fish monster, you destroy a card on the field, and then you draw a card. Important thing to note, the destruction does not target. That actually makes this card a lot better than I was giving it credit for. And the thing is, I can see myself using this for a while. It's just, I didn't really have the room. But I realized the generic traps were actually slowing the deck down a bit, so I switched to the minimal trap build with the extensive draw build, and it works. And then we move into the side deck, which just has the other Swamp Eel and Oystermeister, a 3-star I've been going back and forth about. If it's sent from the field to the grave, except when it's destroyed by battle, you special summon a level 1 token. Honestly, that's really good for this deck's mechanics, but I've been having mixed success with it, so it's in the side for right now. Also, the 3rd copy of DDR, the 2 Dark Holes, the 3 MSTs, you know, in case that other fish doesn't work out, 1 Bottomless, Compulsory, 2 Memory Loss, Mirror Force, Torrential, and Vanities. And finally, we get into the extra deck, which is actually quite diverse, if I have to say so. My target for Instant Fusion, Norden. We all know what it does. 1 Coral Dragon, 6-star Tuner Synchro. It's not a bad card, I guess. I just need another Synchro. Generic, once per turn, you discard a card, target a card your opponent controls, destroy it. If it's Synchro summoned and sent from the field to the graveyard, you can draw a card. It's pretty good, all things considered. It's kind of like a mini version of Gungner, I guess you could say, who lets you discard up to 2 cards from to the graveyard to just target the same number of cards and destroy them, but it doesn't give you a draw. And then, of course, speaking of cards going from the hand to the graveyard, we have Lauren, who bounces as many cards face up on your side of the field to your hand and gives him 500 attack until the end phase. It actually sets off a lot of combos with this deck, not just with the Synchros, but also with a couple other cards. 1 Cat Shark, I see a reason to run it, considering I have enough level 2s. If it has a water material attached to it, it can't be destroyed in battle, and once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach an Xyz material from it, target a rank 4 or lower Xyz, and its attack and defense are doubled until the end of the turn. It's actually a lot better than I thought. 1 Super Quantal Mech Beast Grand Pulse. It's mainly just an MST substitute with a gigantic defense. That's really all I use it for. And Nightmare Shark. My main target for the Bahamut Shark is right next to it. When it's summoned, regardless of how, you can attach a level 3 water from your hand or side of the field to it as a material, and you can detach from it to give the monster a direct attack. Works really good in tandem with Cat Shark. It's actually really funny when you can make a Nightmare Shark at 4 grand that can attack directly. Speaking of Bahamut Shark, you detach a material, summon a rank 3 or lower water Xyz, but it cannot attack for the rest of the turn. Interestingly enough, if you wait until main phase 2 to summon rank 3 for whatever reason, he can attack. And the obligatory Abyss Dweller, it's just there until I can find something better. 2 level 4s, if it has a water material, all water monsters gain 500 attack, and it can lock grave effects. It's not a bad card, it's just, I feel like I can find something better. 1 number 37 Hope Woven Dragon Spider Shark. This one's honestly really good. I've been waiting for this forever. When any monster declares an attack, touch a material, opponent's monsters all lose 1,000 attack till the end of the turn. If it's destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to grave, you can target a different monster in your graveyard and special summon it. But each of these effects can only be used once a turn. This thing's awesome. The 2 101 Silent Honor Arcs. Detach 2 materials, target a special summon monster opponent controls in attack mode, attach it to this material. can only use this effect once per turn, and if this card will be destroyed, you can just detach a material. We all know this card. We've seen it 1,000 times. What we haven't seen is his upgraded form very much, C101, Silent Outer Dark. Once per turn, target a special summon monster opponent controls and attach it to this as a material. If this card is destroyed and sent to the grave while it has material, you special summon it back, and it gains life points equal to the original attack. But number 101 must be in the graveyard for this effect to activate and resolve. If it's special summoned this way, it can't attack for this turn, which isn't a big problem because more often than not you're going to see this happen on your opponent's turn rather than yours, if it's destroyed by card effect. And then lastly, we have the Mermail Abyss Gaius. I rarely summon this anymore, but in all honesty, it's still great. While it has material, level 5 or higher monsters cannot attack, which isn't a big deal to me. I only really have a few that qualify. And once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach a material, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls that have less attack than this card until the end of the turn. And that is the deck. Honestly, I'm still messing with the build on this one. I'm not going to mark it as incomplete or beta. It is definitely ready to play. It's just, it's not quite where I want it to be. It does plenty, but I feel like it's just not smooth yet. It needs a little bit more work before I consider it truly completed. So, drop a comment if you like the deck or what you think I can do to make an adjustment to make it better, and I'll see you in the next video. This has been Nanashi, signing out.